this is Mary from Around the Craft Room. Thank you so much for coming back over and checking out what we're doing this week. I've already done a video on how to use the shavings from the fabric crayons, but I'm going to do something with this piece of fabric when I get done. So I wanted to just go over this a little bit again and show you what I've done. I'm going to go through this one really pretty quick because I want to get to making our project with this piece of fabric. And excuse my hands, I've been crafting, so obviously I've got ink and everything all over my hands. I'm gonna put these hearts down on here pretty quickly. These hearts are cut out of freezer paper, and you can do that with your Cricut, or you can just simply freehand them. And then I'm going to iron it down and get them stuck on here the way I want them. Just arrange them however you want to put them on, whatever design you want. And I'm going to just simply iron them down. Got a little bit of sprinkle of crayons there. I don't want to touch it with my iron, so I'm trying to skip around and not get that in there. Now I'm going to take my crayon shavings and just scatter over the whole thing. Oh, and I do have paper, a couple of layers of paper underneath all of this. Okay, now I'm putting down a piece of butcher paper on top of all that. And then just ironing it all the way down into it. Okay, and I'll save this paper and use it for something else too. Now, I'm gonna go ahead with this red crayon and I'm gonna go around the hearts again, just roughly so I can outline all my little hearts. Okay, and now I can see where the hearts are, and before I re-iron it, I'm going to see if I want any more sprinkles of the shavings. I think maybe over in here I might want some more sprinkles, maybe down here. So I'll do just a little bit more sharpening of my crayon, maybe adding a few more little sprinkles of crayon over here. Maybe a few over here. Okay, now I need to put another piece of butcher paper down. And let's re-iron this. All right, this time I'm going to lift up all the little heart designs. And who knows, we might use those in a journal somewhere. All right, here's what I've got. Okay, so I've taken this piece of fabric and I've torn it down to be about 11 3/4 by about 8 3/4. And then I like the frayed edge part, so I've just pulled out some threads all the way around it, just like that. Then I found another piece of fabric, which also is loose woven. It's just like a heavier weight upholstery fabric. I've cut it down to the same size, and then I'm also fraying out some threads on it. And then this is going to be the lining, and this is going to be the front. Okay, and I'm making a traveler's notebook journal covers. So your traveler's notebooks are normally approximately this size, which is about 4.5 by 8. I like to take these with me when I go on a trip. I will do maybe a weekend or something, and I will take pictures, use it as like a scrapbook. So I'm getting ready to make another journal cover. Sometimes I put batting between it, but this one I'm not going to. It's just going to be plain like this. I also have some of this lace that I think I want to put around the whole thing here and just add a little bit more to it that way. Plus, I've got red thread in the sewing machine, and I'm going to do some kind of decorative stitch on here too. So what I'm starting with is the lining on the right side, the side you're going to be seeing when you open up your journal like this. I'm taking a piece of 1-inch elastic, and I'm going to cut about 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to just simply fold it in half, and I'm going to sew this on here. And this is for our pins, just on the lining itself. So I'm going to straight stitch a piece of elastic on there, and then I'm going to back up and sew it a couple of times. Now I have my pin loop, so I can put a pin in here. Now I also want to put some pockets over here on the inside. So I'm going to go see if I can find another piece of fabric. So I went and got another piece of this fabric for the lining. It could be just any color. It just happens to be I had some more of this, so this is what I'm using. I went ahead and frayed out all around the edges of it. Again, just simply because I like it that way. That's not necessary at all. It's the same length as this. Oh, approximately looks like it's a little bit longer, but that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew a seam across here just to keep this from raveling more, because that's going to be the top of our pocket. So I'm just sewing a straight seam across there. It's not really noticeable, obviously, but it's just so that won't fray out anymore. Then I'm taking the bottom of my pocket and placing it just a little ways up inside the lining here. I'm just going to pin that in there. And then I'm going to take and fold this under, just give it a fold. I'm going to fold it nearly all the way down to the bottom. Not all the way, because I just want to stitch across that. So nearly all the way down. And then put a pin in it, and that's going to be a good pocket there. And then I'm going to do the same thing up here with just a small pocket, and then I'm going to leave that top one like that, and you can put a long tag or something down in there. So you can put just small things in these two, and then you can put a long tag into the top part. I'm going to pin that on there like this and get ready to sew all the way around it, leaving of course the top part. So you sew down and across the bottom. I'm just going to sew this straight down through here. All right, that's sewing that pocket inside our lining, and then we'll get ready to start working on the front. I'm going to get ready to put this trim around the whole thing. So what I think I want to do is I think I want to start in the back of this, and then I'm just going to add trim like this all the way around, just with a straight stitch. Go ahead and back stitch across that. Okay, there's our journal cover front with all the lace sewn all the way around it. Now we've got to put the lining together. I need to get this all lined up even all the way around. And now we need to decide whether we want to put it just a white stitch all the way around it, or whether we want to do a decorative stitch in the middle, which I think would be cute. I think I am going to go ahead and, just for security reasons, for it to stay down, I'm going to go ahead and re-sew white in white all the way around it, then come back and put a decorative stitch in. This is not going to be turned, it's just going to be straight like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and put another stitch all the way around just to hold it down. Alright, I think I'd like to go ahead and pick out a decorative stitch on my sewing machine just to add something different on here, maybe just down on both sides. I think I'll go ahead and put red thread back in and then see if I can use a decorative stitch or two. 147. It's got like a little flower or something. I don't know. Let's just see what it looks like. Alright, let's see what we got. Oh, obviously it could have been a little bit straighter. I was paying more attention to the sewing machine than I was actually looking at what I was sewing, but that's okay. So it's got like little flowers on it. It's kind of cute. All right, so that's going to be our cover. And then I'm going to show you how to put the strings in it that's going to hold our notebooks inside here. This one is going to be for me for my next vacation, and I may show you some journaling with me on that. I have made several of these using recycled materials. I've made a lot with denim, so check out my Etsy shop and see what we got going on there. I'm going to get ready to put the elastics in our cover so we can put the traveler's notebooks in. But I usually try to put 2 in here for sure. I take a piece of cardstock, which is, this one's just a scrap piece of cardstock. It's probably about 2 inches. Fold it in half. And then I fold this in half to get the center. And then I just put a dot in the middle there, and then fold this back together like this, and I measure down about a half an inch and in maybe about a quarter of an inch and put a dot there, and the same way with this end in about a quarter of an inch and half inch down and put a dot there. Okay, you can probably poke a hole with an ice pick or something like that. I usually just take my crocodile because I have one, and then I just poke the hole in there and here, and one down the middle. So I've got like 2 here and 2 here and then 1 in the middle. All right, so fold your cover in half and then put this on the outside. So I'm going to have to bring the holes down a little bit because I have this lace here, but normally I would have it right about there. Put that right in the middle of that, and then I open this up, leave it right in the middle, and then I just mark up my holes that I'm going to want to poke in there. And then place the holes in under here. Again, I know you can do this with an ice pick or anything else that you've got that you can poke holes with. I've just got the crocodile, so that's what I'm going to use. A lot of people have the smaller crocodiles, which is fine too. Just trim off the extra little piece of fabrics that comes out of the holes there. And then choose just some elastic. I think I'll put this pinkish color elastic in here. This is just thick elastic cording. You need a piece, the width of the cover, and just a little bit more because you're going to be tying a knot. That's the first piece you need. And then you push one end through the center there. And then this is going to be the front of your journal, and I like to put a charm. So I've pulled out some charms that I have here, just some random broken pieces of jewelry, or I have some charms here I got on clearance at some time. Pick out whatever kind of charm you like. I think I'm going to put this heart on here. I've also made charms just with beads, and in another video I showed you how to make these little bottles into charms. So you could add stuff like that. Just on this one, I think I'm just going to add the heart, but you can always come back later and add charms to it too. The thing is, if I put it through the loop of the heart itself, it's going to lay like that. So I'm going to need to put a jump ring or something on there, which this one's already got one on there. I just need to make sure they're closed up tight. And then you thread the cord through there and then back through the hole in the middle. All right, turn it over this way. And then I'll take a button. I like the ones that's got the 2 holes in them, but it doesn't really matter. You can use the ones with the 4 holes if you want. And then I thread the cording through the button. And this is just in here to keep your cording from coming out. And then I just tie a square knot. Right over left, left over right. And then you just pull it tight. I usually pull all 4 ends there, and then I pull the other end tight. You can just trim off the excess. I don't trim it all the way down. I just leave a little bit on there. That button will keep the whole thing from pulling through from the outside. And this is your tie around your book. So it will be like that. Now we need to get another piece of elastic cording and get another piece of string that's twice as long. Maybe a little bit more because you're going to be tying a knot. Thread through the top on one side and back through this one. And then do the same thing on this end. Thread through this way and then back through the other hole. So that's all you're doing. So it looked like that on the back side, just a couple of little cords. And then you're just going to tie this. You're not going to pull it tight because you don't want to pull your book tight, but you want to lay it flat and you have it snug. So you're just going to tie another square knot. Adjust it the way you want it, to where it's just taut, not tight, but just tight enough. Yeah, I like that. And then just pull those tight and trim them off. And this is the way you put your books in. You just open them up to the center and put them in like this. Just put them under the elastic like that. And there we go. That's how you do your traveler's notebook soft cover. So this is the soft cover. There's your pockets. So there's a little pen part there for you to put your pen in. Thank you for watching. Y'all have a great day.